Good morning from Greenville, South Carolina.
I'm Melinda.
And I'm Melissa.
Yesterday we came to Greenville to fulfill a wish of our high school social studies teacher by giving her a ride on the motorcycle. We took her daughter, and our high school principal for a ride, and we will link the video of that event in the cards above. Yesterday was a beautiful day all around, just gorgeous. And today
we have another awesome day. Look at that beautiful sky.
Beautiful weather. It's not too cold, not too hot.
Oh, it is a little cool. Just wait till we get out on the bike. We're gonna just have to bundle up. But it is beautiful, no rain. So happy about that. We'll tell you more about this trip today in just a minute.
So please stay tuned.
As I said, we are still in Greenville, and we have a long ride ahead of us today because she decided we're going to take the back roads. So instead of 2.5 hours on the bike on the interstate, which she complained about, I found a ride.
I did not complain.
Yes, you did. You said yesterday you weren't looking forward to the...
Oh, yes. Beforehand I complained, but afterwards I didn't say anything afterwards because I thought it was a pretty enjoyable ride.
Okay, well good. We'll go back to the interstate.
No, we do need to do the more beautiful route today because we want to give you some beautiful views of the area between where it's mountainous here in Greenville, and then we head into the low country down towards home. So
yes, and I've never taken 178 north of Columbia. 178 and 78 heads from Columbia down towards Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on that route, but I've never been this side of it. So it'll be an exciting ride, get away from the interstate.
So 4 hours today on the bike instead of 2.5. So come along with us today as we head from the mountainous area of Greenville to the low country down towards Charleston and our home.
All right, let's get going.
Dear God, I just pray for traveling mercies today in your precious and holy name. Amen. Safe ride. The first town we roll through on our route home from Greenville to Ridgeville is the town of Malden, South Carolina. Malden has a population of about 25,400 people and is named after a former lieutenant governor and railroad executive, William Lawrence Malden, who was responsible for getting the railroad to come through the village. This 10-square-mile city had its humble beginnings as a town in 1820, but it was incorporated as a city in 1969. Have you heard of the grocery chain Bilo? Malden is where that grocery chain was born and was its headquarters until 2011. I-385 borders its east side, but as we are staying off the interstate today, we're just going to head on down Highway 417. Simpsonville, South Carolina has a population of about 22,200 people. It dates back to 1838 when a farmer, Peter Simpson, opened a blacksmithing shop at the intersection of Old Stage Road and Cherokee Trail. The crossroads soon became known as Simpsonville. Today, a working railroad line runs along Main Street.
It's not too cold. That seat, is your seat warm? Oh yeah. How's your heated handlebars? Hand grips are great.
The clock tower was built in 1986 and is a more modern version of the classic Southern clock tower. The passenger train depot that was built in 1960 is now an ice cream parlor. Is the third of the three cities that comprise what is called the Golden Strip, name given to the area comprising of Malden, Simpsonville, Fountain Inn, when the water delivery system from Greenville was installed in the 1950s. Fountain Inn is nicknamed the Diamond Tip of the Golden Strip. The name Fountain Inn came from the stagecoach drivers who would stop at an inn with a fountain. They called the stop Fountain Inn, and the name stuck. You can find the location of the inn with the fountain at a marker on the north side of town. Clayton Pegleg Bates, a famous tap dancer who lost his leg in a cotton mill accident as a boy, was from Fountain Inn, as was syndicated columnist Robert Quillen. Even though I-385 runs close to the southern edge of Fountain Inn, we passed on yet another opportunity to go home via the freeway and opted to continue home on the back roads.
Take me out, I wanna see. Meet me at the station of me. Reach my way. I wanna lay my head and face the fear. That's my way. That's my way. It's not a big thing, but it's so hard. Now that you've touched my useless heart. It's not a big thing, but I want it to start. Now that you've touched my useless heart. Take me out, I wanna hear big, big drums inside my ears. I wanna lay my head and face the fear. That's my way. That's my way.
Cross Hill, South Carolina has about 600 residents. It developed around an intersection of two old Indian trails. The area was a north-south Indian path across the fish dams on the Broad River and leading to the fish dams on the Savannah River. The Carter family constructed an inn at the intersection of these two trails in 1795. By 1837, the community that developed around the inn was known as Cross Hill. The town expanded with the arrival of the Georgia, Carolina, and Northern Railway in 1890 and officially incorporated that same year. Saluda, South Carolina is situated among low, gradually sloping hills fitted for the growing of crops. The town of Saluda was named for the Saluda River, which forms one of the 3.3 square mile town's borders. The English word Saluda came from the Cherokee word meaning green corn place. The land was originally Cherokee Indian land until they signed a treaty to accommodate pioneers in 1755. Two famous heroes of the Alamo, William Barrett Travis and James Butler Bonham, were natives of Saluda. The town of Saluda was also the home to a few South Carolina plantations. Most of the plantations in Saluda County grew cotton, which became an important crop in the early 1800s. On the courthouse square are the Saluda County Historical Museum and the Art Deco style theater built in 1936. It is being restored to its original condition. Other sites nearby include the pre-revolutionary Bonham House, called Flat Grove, and the Marsh Johnson House. The theater and both houses are listed on the National Registry of Historical Places. Batesburg and Leesville used to be their own independent towns until 1992, when they were combined to form Batesburg-Leesville, South Carolina. Batesburg was named for Captain Tom Bates, a prominent citizen of the community and a captain in the American Civil War. Leesville was named for Colonel John W. Lee, a prominent resident of the community. The town's economy is dependent on the two large poultry processing plants, Amick Farms and Columba Farms. The South Carolina Poultry Festival takes place here the second Saturday in May every year. Many notable sports and military figures hail from here, and one tragic incident of police brutality happened here in 1946. Isaac Woodward Jr., a black man who, although never a resident of Batesburg, was a U.S. Army sergeant and a decorated World War II veteran who was traveling by bus to his home in Winnsboro, South Carolina, from Fort Gordon, Georgia, in February of 1946. He was taken from the bus and beaten by police, resulting in him becoming blind. As a result of this case, President Truman subsequently established a national interracial commission, made a historic speech to the NAACP and the nation in June 1947, in which he described the civil rights as a moral priority. There are 23 sites and structures in this town that are listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. We now come to the town called North. That is North, South Carolina, the town with an unusual place name. It is the subject of the Bill Cosby comedy show episode called Understanding Southern. In 1891, the Southbound Railway Company came through the area with the assistance of John F. North. In 1892, John North, along with George W. Powell and Sampson A. Livingston, donated 100 acres for the railway depot and town site. A U.S. Post Office branch was also later established. The next year, John North was elected the first mayor of his namesake town of North, South Carolina. The United States Air Force Base North Auxiliary Airfield is located near the town. Two former NFL players, Chuck Darby and Freddie Martino, are from North, and the singer who made Santa Baby popular in 1953, Eartha Kitt, was also born here in North, South Carolina. Orangeburg, South Carolina is a 9-square-mile town of about 12,300 people. The city is located 37 miles southeast of Columbia on the North Fork of the Edisto River. Its location on the Edisto River made it the perfect spot for settlers in 1704, as it gave them waterway access to the port of Charleston on the Atlantic coast for the area's agricultural and lumber products, and for shipping goods upriver. Two historically black institutions of higher education are located in Orangeburg: Claflin University, a liberal arts college, and Southern Carolina State University, a public university. There are 29 national historical places here. Multiple sports figures, politicians, academia leaders, and actors and actresses hail from Orangeburg. In 2007, Orangeburg hosted the first Democratic U.S. presidential candidate debate. Then Senator Barack Obama was one of the debaters. Bowman, South Carolina is a small 1.2 square mile town that was founded in 1887. The land at the current intersection of 178 and South Carolina 210 was part of an estate owned by Reddick Bowman. The site chosen for Bowman was actually situated in the center of a rice farming country and was later transformed into a major cotton producing area where the land has a clay subsoil, ideal for this and other crops. It was located on an old road that was traveled in colonial days by people going from Charleston to Orangeburg, and which was once alleged to have been known as Oak Ridge, a plateau about 10 miles long and 5 miles wide. The charter for the town aimed at developing and exploiting the agricultural and lumbering potential of an area that had remained rather dormant since the American Civil War. You may visit the War Memorial Monument, an eternal flame that was erected in 1987 for residents who died in the wars. You may also visit the UFO Welcome Center, an attraction erected by a local resident in his backyard in 1994. This 42-foot wide flying saucer was constructed as the resident envisioned himself as being an ambassador to aliens and wanted to provide a facility where they could rest after a long journey on a UFO. Harleyville, South Carolina was named after the Harley family, who owned much of the land wherein Harleyville is located. The Harley family raised cattle for the Charleston market. In 1885, Harley sold a right-of-way across his land for the railroad. The building of the railroad spurred development of the lumber industry, and the town was incorporated in 1893. As automobile travel became more popular in the 20th century, Harleyville again benefited from its location along what was then one of South Carolina's main thoroughfares. South Carolina Highway 2, now Highway 178, was the first hard-surface road in Dorchester County. When completed in 1932, it extended from upstate South Carolina to Charleston. Considered South Carolina's main street, Highway 2 allowed Harleyville to remain a trading center for surrounding farms. Interstate 26 replaced South Carolina Highway 2 as a main highway in the 1960s. Lest you think Harleyville is related to the Harley-Davidson motorcycle brand, it is not. The final town on our route home is, of course, hometown to Melissa. Ridgeville, South Carolina has a historical marker, and it says this: "This town in Colleton County, before Dorchester County was founded in 1897, dates from 1831. It was one of the first stations on the South Carolina Railroad from Charleston to Hamburg. This area was called Ridgeville as early as 1820 for its location on a ridge between Four Holes Swamp and Cypress Swamp. From the 1840s to the Civil War, Ridgeville was a popular destination for pleasure parties, day trips up from Charleston, and back on the South Carolina Railroad. Town lots were laid out and sold here in 1849, and the town became a planter's summer retreat and a center of trade. One antebellum visitor called Ridgeville, quote, a very pleasant, healthy village, and its citizens industrious, prosperous, and hospitable. It was incorporated in 1875 with its limits a half-mile radius from the depot. The town was centered along Railroad Avenue and Main Street. The timber and turpentine industries here flourished until the 20th century.
All right, made it home and got my cup of coffee because I got chilly there. I think when we left Greenville, it was about 68. No, it was about 63.
I think it was only 58, 59.
Oh well, 58, 59, but it was sunny. And by the time we got out on the road, the bike was saying it was about 67. And then it warmed up to 68, 69 for most of the way. And then once we got to the low country, it did get up to 72, but I am a little chilly.
Yeah, I got just a tad bit cool, not cold. I had a couple layered jackets on, and that helmet completely enclosed my head. That made a huge difference. Only problem is it gave me a headache because I had extra padding in the head. But other than that, okay.
But the coffee.
The coffee.
Nice and warm. That's
Yes.
right. All right.
And we got a quick snack too that helped when we got home. You want
All right,
my
so
honest verdict?
I want your verdict. Yeah.
I am not doing a 4-hour trip anytime soon on a motorcycle. It's just too long. I found at the 2-hour mark, I was ready to be done.
Yep. But you've got to admit, those small towns and passing through those was a lot better than that interstate.
It is, and it's a lot less scary. I'm gonna finish unpacking this bike, and I'm gonna hit the road and get on home.
All right.
So, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you're alerted when new content is available.
And until next time, everybody, take care
God bless.
and safe riding out there.